Hi there and welcome to the woods. Our entire existence is defined by one single rock, one type of rock. From the savannahs of Africa all the way to the Neolithic flint mines of Grimes Graves in the UK, this stone has followed us throughout history. The Stone Age was a broad prehistoric period during which stone was widely used to make tools with an edge, a point or a percussion surface. And this period lasted for roughly 3.3 million years, and it ended between 4000 BC and 2000 BC, with the advent of metalworking. The fracture of this stone causes it to break into sharp-edged pieces. Stone Age people, they recognized this property of flint. And over time they developed highly advanced ways of knapping flint to produce knives, blades, projectile points, scrapers, axes and drills. And flint was used in practically all cultures located where flint could be easily found. And if it was not available locally, it was traded over large distances, such as the flint quarries of Grimes Graves in the UK, or the flint-rich deposit in Ohio, where Native Americans sourced flint. There are mainly three properties of flint that makes it ideal for us humans. Its glassy crystalline structure that produces sharp edges, its hardness and its extreme durability to weathering. It's actually so when we unearth flint tools from hundreds of thousands of years ago, they are still as sharp as when they were left by the people at the time. The exact formation of flint is not clear. One hypothesis is that nodules form in cavities in sea sediment bored by organisms such as crustaceans or mollusks. And the burrows then becomes silicified, and this would explain the puzzling shapes of flint nodules. The nodules are simply casts of the burrows. The material itself, the silica making up the stone, is biogenic. The silica that formed them was originally produced by marine life, by sponges, plankton and other microorganisms, deposited on the seafloor 60 to 95 million years ago, during the late Cretaceous period. So, how did Stone Age people produce stone tools from this rock? One method of flint knapping is called the lithic reduction method. And this is the removal of a lithic flake from a larger stone in order to reach the desired tool shape and size. The beginning stone is called the flake lithic core. The first step is hard hammer percussion. It involves knocking off the larger flakes to achieve the desired lithic core for the flake tool. Soft hammer percussion is the second step. It involves using a hammer made of bone, which was often an antler, in order to knock off flakes from the lithic core. Animal antlers such as moose, deer and elk were often the most common ones used, and it allows the user more control over the size and shape of the flake knocked off. Soft hammer percussion was also used when the stone was more brittle. Finally, a method called pressure flaking was used, and this is the final step. It involves using a piece of bone, antler or piece of hardwood in order to have more control of the flakes knocked off of the lithic core. One simply applies outward and downward pressure to achieve the final flake tools. This is used to produce the final razor-sharp edges of flint knives and flint points. A good example to illustrate how important flint was to the people of the Stone Age is the Grimes Graves mine complex. Grimes Graves is a large Neolithic flint mining complex in Norfolk, England. It was worked between 2600 and 2300 BC, about the same time when great monuments such as the Stonehenge was built. The Grimes Graves mining complex consists of over 433 shafts dug into the natural chalk to reach seams of flint of exceptionally high quality. The largest shafts are more than 14 meters deep and 12 meters in diameter at the surface. When reaching the flint seam, the miners dug subterranean galleries at the base of each shaft, some up to 15 meters long. It has been calculated that more than 2,000 tons of chalk had to be removed from the larger shafts, taking 20 men around 5 months before stone of sufficient quality was reached. In order to remove the chalk efficiently, the ancient miners built wooden platforms and ladders as they dug downwards and piled the soil around the shaft. One of the most interesting facts is that the miners used picks fashioned from the antler of red deer. The 28 pits excavated up to 2008 yielded an average of 142 antler picks each. So, just acquiring the huge amount of deer antlers for this industry would have required keeping red deers. The medium depth shafts yielded as much as 60 tons of flint nodules. If you are interested to visit the site, you don't necessarily have to go there yourself. In fact, in the game Assassin's Creed Valhalla, available on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox, there's actually a side quest in which you can descend into the Grimes Graves to search for a hidden treasure. But the Grimes Graves is not the only site where flint was mined during the Stone Age. Also in North America, Native Americans used flint to fashion arrow points thousands of years ago. The first humans arrived in North America 15,000 years ago, and living a nomadic lifestyle, they camped, traveled and hunted near water systems. And in these areas they also made, left, lost and broke stone tools. Searching for arrow points in the creeks and on riverbeds is today a popular and rewarding hobby among amateur archaeologists. Most of the points are from the Upper Paleolithic period, some 15,000 to 20,000 years ago. And thanks to the durability of flint, they are as sharp as they were when they were lost. Among Native American Indians, the Flint Ridge in Ohio was known to yield flint of exceptional quality. Similar to the Grimes Grave in the UK, a mining industry was developed. Hundreds of mining pits are scattered across more than 2,000 acres. The flint at the deposit is known for their bright coloration. It was also common for European settlers to use flint from the mines for fire starters, flintlock guns and jewelry. It really is a fantastic stone. And I wonder what kind of material we would have used if it wasn't for the flint. Yes, that's all for now. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And as always, I'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care. Bye.